Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another new video. So in my last video, as you have seen, we've gone ahead and unboxed this Hammer Active 2.0 Plus smartwatch, and I just gave you an initial impression about the watch, about the look and feel of the watch. I've been using this watch for the past 10 days, and I've spent a good amount of time with this watch at home, at the gym. So I'm going to just give you my review and what I thought and what's good and bad about this Hammer smartwatch. So let's get started. So first things first we'll talk about the display. So this is a 2.1-inch LCD display, as you can see, but the display is really crisp and clear. So you can see in the bright sunny days, that's going to be perfectly fine. I've kept the brightness at like medium. I normally keep it at low as well, just to get that, extra battery life. But this doesn't gives any problem in the sunlight or anything in terms of the viewing as well. Now it is at minimum, but you can see the screen is still, bright and good. So which is a good thing. Now let's come to some of the health features of the of this watch. So the first thing we're gonna check is the, let's say, the heart rate. Now I'm going to test this. Now this heart rate process takes about a good 10 to 15 seconds to start, whereas in case of my Apple Watch it should be like really quick, so maybe within like 4 to 5 seconds this should start showing the results. And it does not gives you the continuous results. So once the reading has been complete, if you want to see the heart rate again, then you'll have to restart this process again. Whereas on the Apple Watch, it just continuously shows you the heart rate as well. So there is any change or any variation, it just shows you in that same screen as well. So which is not the case in case of the Apple, in case of this Hammer Watch. So this is definitely a time-taking process. Now, I've also tested about the walking average heart rate because they have like three heart rate modes basically. They have a current, and then they have a resting heart rate, and then they have a walking average heart rate as well. So I tried to use the walking average heart rate, but I did not find that to be really useful in any way, because this does not shows you the accurate data when you're working out or something like that, at least when you're not running any of those activity modes. But then if you just want to check the heart rate, I think there is a variation, or it's not really accurate on those in those grounds. Now let's come back to the BP. So we also have a BP over here. So it's able to calculate your pulses, and based on the pulses, it's going to, uh, you know, calculate what should be the blood pressure that you should have. It just takes about 3 to 5, hits. So to give you the accurate results. So now it's showing, it's still trying to stabilize, and then once it stabilizes, it gives you a little bit of haptic. So now it's showing as like 76 by 122 as well. Similarly, you have a SpO2 as well. Let's go ahead and test this. Now, all these operations related to your health, this is going to take some time. So it's not like blazing fast now how you have on the Apple Watch, because this is like really accurate, and then it just gives you the information on spot. So as you can see, this has already taken like 18 seconds to read, and then it's giving you the SpO2 result. You also have a cycle tracking, and then you have a weather app, and then let's go to um, we also have the blood sugar as well, so we're going to check that. There it is. So it is able to calculate. So what it does is it's going to again take some time. It's going to compute based on the heart rate, and then the sensors are working at the moment. Then it's going to give you that reading over here as well. It says it's 5.7. I think technically it should be less than 7, so it's good. But then this is not the accurate data. I don't take any watch, let it be a real Apple Watch as well, I don't consider that data to be always accurate. So always get that checked through a medical equipment at the nearest clinic or a hospital. So that's that for the health related options. And then let's go ahead and check the workout modes. So let's talk about the steps, the step counter. So if you see, there are like, three kind of data that you get on the quick access for your activities. First is the number of calories you have burnt, and then the steps that you have burnt for that day, and then the total steps that you have burnt for that week. And then you also have a graphical display of all those days, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then versus the steps on your y-axis. So you see those daily steps and weekly steps and the kilocalories burned. Now that's that. Now let's come back to the battery, which is like, very important in case of any smartwatch. Now, Hammer claims the battery on this watch to last up to like 5 days. But then again, when I tested this connecting to my phone and also using this watch as a standalone device, I kind of like get it about 2.5 days so far. So I charged this watch on Friday. Today is Sunday, so I charged it on Friday afternoon, and I'm still having like 23% battery, which is left. Now, coming back to this particular screen, now they have like a lot of watch faces that you can download from the cloud and then install it on the app. So, uh, in terms of the design and the different types of watch faces that you get, which is good, but then the watch faces are not really functional always. So there is a default watch face, which is this one. I think here these options are working. If you tap on the activity or if you tap on the weather, these are still opening up. But then the compass is also working here, which is like a good thing. But then if I have to, this is one of the watch faces I have downloaded from the store. But then if I want to tap on anything, nothing will work. So although it gives you a data like this is the total kilocalories for today, and then your last heart rate, and then the steps for that day, and the time and the battery, it just shows you those, but then you cannot open anything or check out the details from the watch faces as well. This is and then there are other watch faces as well, which are like just plain kind of like wallpapers. They don't like really have any functionality on the watch faces as well. So that's one of the ways, and I think you cannot complain much because the Apple Watch, something is like everything on the watch face is like it's functional. So you tap on anything and that's going to work. For example, if I want to just open my breathe, it just works from here. I want to open my heart rate, the heart rate monitor, it just starts working here. So everything is kind of like, opens up. So this is the calendar, it opens up. But that's not the case if we have to talk about this Hammer Active 2.0 watch. Now, the battery takes about 2 hours to get fully charged, and then you get a magnetic charger. And the other side is a USB-A type. I think they could have given a USB-C, which would be like good in terms of the connectivity and accessibility. But USB-A works because it's still like in use in most of the like devices, so you can connect it or just connect it to a socket and then you can charge. The next thing I just wanted to show you is one of the features what this watch, like they widely advertise it, which is called as the India's first gesture control smartwatch. Now let me show you how this works. So let's go to, so this basically works on two areas, which is the alarm and then receiving the calls. So those are the two areas where that gesture control work. Let me open up alarm. Now it's 8:25. I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to make this 8 and then 25. So I'm going to keep that maybe 26 and then save it. We'll wait for the watch to ring. Once that alarm rings, then we're going to see how the gesture control works for disabling the alarm as well. You can also do that for receiving calls, but then again, these are the only two functionalities where the gesture control actually works. It does not work on anything else, but then we're going to check. So now the alarm has rang, and then it gives you an option to disconnect from here. You can also snooze it from here, or you can just do like, and the alarm has been stopped. So the gesture control works flawless. It's absolutely great. and which is, I think, one of their signature features which they have advertised on the box as well. Now, regarding the some of the other areas where I found that the watch could have been like much better, the first thing is how they have basically, you know, put these options here on the list view of the menu. I think it could have been like much better if they could have put everything in an alphabetically order. Now it's, you know, it's everywhere. So you see calls, exercise, activity, so C, E, A, S, and everything like that. But you know, they could have just done like A to be at the top, then B, C. So anything that's falling in an alphabetical order, keep those apps in that way as well. But so that would have been made the searching very easy. I think one of the advantages I find that in the exercise as well. So when I go to exercise, everything is just everywhere. So you see, first is like, you know, running, and then you have walking. So there is nothing like in an alphabetical order, so they have just put everything over here. So that's that. Now let's come to some of the other features that this gets as well. So the other thing I would like to show you is one thing I wanted to talk about is the sensitivity of the screen. This is like, you know, super sensitive. So I mostly rely on the crown to control, because, you know, what happens is if you try to scroll something here, you end up opening a different app altogether. So which can be causing, you know, at times that can be an inconvenience. That happens mostly on this menu and mostly on the exercise as well. So let's say I want to do this, and I just wanted to scroll, but then this activity basically started up, which I did not want it. So this could have been like much better. So I have to pause it. And then there is one more problem, that this stop button doesn't works. So what I have to do is, so if I tap it, it doesn't do anything. I'll have to push the crown. It doesn't do anything. I'll have to push this button again, and then it says the exercise time is too short to save. I will just check mark that, and then I can exit out of here. So that's one of the bugs that they have over there, which they should be able to address in the future releases. Now, this scroll versus the actual feedback that you get on the screen is kind of like lag on the menu, because if I have to scroll like, if I have to do that like 2 or 3 times, but it would just move a little bit. So it doesn't really coordinate or synchronizes with the amount of scroll we are doing versus how the screen is reflecting those options. So let's see. I did it like, so it's really slowly moving. It could have been like much better. But then they've also given, a good thing is that for everything they have given a haptic feedback control. So whenever you scroll anything, you get a haptic feedback, and you can control the intensity of that as well. Like I did, so I wanted to, you know, open up this quick toggle screen, but then you saw that the activity screen came up. So the screen is something like super sensitive, and there is no way we can control that from the app or from the watch itself, which is a disadvantage in how to use this watch. Now, the next thing is, this is one of the water reminders. So it said like time for water. And then it also does the same for in case of the sedentary reminder as well. Now, they also, you know, talk a lot about the always on display, which this watch gets. So this does not just looks like an Apple Watch, but then it also gets that feature of always on display as well. It took me a couple of seconds to figure out where that setting exactly is. So let me show it to you. If we click on this, go to settings, we don't have any option that says like always on display over here. So I'm just going all the way down, right? So, but then there is nothing. So they have put that option under this setting, which is called as the constant on setting. It doesn't say it's like the always on display, but this tells that it's a constant on setting. If you come here, then you can enable that, and then you want to show how many seconds that does that always on display should be there on the screen. So you can change that duration. I kept it for like 15 seconds. And then you want to change like what kind of style you want. You want an analog, you want a digital. So both options are there as well. So if I turn this way, and then you see this, now I'm on analog. If I go to set the digital, I'm going to do this, and now this is digital. So that's that's there as well. So both the always on display as well as the um, the gesture control works fine, but I just wish they could have given the gesture control for some more functionality as well, like do a certain kind of activity so that your track changes while you're playing music, or you want to disconnect the call, you want to pause your music and things like that. But anyways, that's what it is. Now you get a lot of watch faces on this, and then again, this is their standard watch face, which has a compass, and then the compass is pretty, functional as well. So I like it that this is only the watch face where everything is functional. Then if we have to go to some other settings, so you also have a music control over here. We check the heart rate, BP, weather, breathe. So I was scrolling right now and you saw that the breathe app just opened up. So that's one of the problems I was talking about. You also get a calculator, which is very good. So if you want to do something like, it just does it. It's really quick. So the calculator works perfect. So let's come out of here. Let's go to find your phone. So you can, once your phone is paired with the phone, you can also use this option to find your phone in case if you have, if you're not able to locate your phone as well. So we checked about the alarm, the settings, and it also has that voice assistant. Now I'm currently connected to my phone, which is why I'm not able to use that. But then again, this works both for Siri as well as your Google Assistant as well. I saw most of the times this is working fine. So you just have to click. So for some reason, well, because the voice assistant was active, the video got stopped because the watch is actually connected to my phone. That's only the reason that it just got stopped as well. So that's there, and then you have like different style. You can choose your menu how you want to keep it to. So right now it's on style, but then you have this one. You have like a lot of options over here as well. Will come out of that, and then you have your compass. So this works fairly well. So this is a good accurate compass that I have got, because when I tested that with my iPhone as well as a normal conventional compass, this works exactly correct, and this is very accurate as well. So you have your directions, and then what is the elevation that you are at this point, so that it shows as well. Well, something I didn't like is that if we do let's say if I do a 0, it still like shows up like -0 degrees. 0 should not be a positive, 0 should be a positive or a negative as well. It should be just 0, but it just adds a negative sign over there, which is kind of a bug, is what I saw. From here, you can also control like other things like your heart rate, your step counter, and then everything is accessible as well. So all in all, this is what the watch is offering right now. One of the options it also has is the altitude pressure. I think this needs to be set up with your phone. And I remember the first time I set it up, after that, whenever I'm coming to the app, like, when the watch was set up, it just showed me this data. So anytime when I come here to the altitude pressure and I try to check something, it does not do anything at all, if you see. So it just shows these things. So maybe this is kind of like either not working or it has a bug for the altitude pressure. That was about the features of this watch, and then the watch like feels really premium because this is not a plastic, this is an anodized aluminum, if you see. And this strap is also looking very nice because this is really comfortable, it's lightweight, so good for your sports activities or running or things like that. Now let's come to the conclusion, and should you be buying this watch? I would say for a price of like about 1,500 that you get on your quick commerce stores like Zipto or Blinkit, I think it's a good deal. You can definitely go ahead and buy it and use it, because it will like serve the purpose for most of you. Like if you're for your, for your step counting, heart rate, the clock, the watch, and alarm, and all those things. It just does the things well, and the sensors are calibrated well mostly, but then somewhere it's a little bit of a hit and miss. Like I showed you the altitude pressure, the heart rate for your walking average and things like that. Maybe on those areas this is not like fully accurate, but then that like mostly not everyone would be going into those areas specifically to pull out that information, so it should be fairly good for of the price that you get. I think it's a great value for proposition. And then again, who should buy this watch? Now you have to make sure that this is relatively a bigger screen, which is a 2.01 inch. So if I have to put my Apple Watch, so this is my Apple Watch 42 mm, but then if you see that this looks really small in front of this. So if you're someone who has a big wrist, then definitely you can go for it. But then if your wrist size is not like broad or wide, the more the broad and wide it is, the better the watch would suit on your hands. But then if it is not, this would look relatively odd. So I would say go for a size which is smaller than this, and which would look elegant and nice on your wrist as well. Now the battery is, of course, it takes about like 2 hours to charge, and then gives you like 2 to 2.5 days of battery life, which is good for this watch. And I think and that's perfectly all right for the features that it offers as well. Now, some of the drawbacks, like we've discussed, is touch response, which is like blazingly fast, or this is not like really calibrated well, because you literally cannot scroll or see things very well, because when you're doing something you end up like opening a different app or somewhere, like it doesn't able to recognize between a touch and a tap, so it just opens up a app wherever like you touched and you wanted to scroll it up. So that's one of the disadvantages, I would say. But then, all in one, this is a really great product, made in India product as well. So definitely you can go for it. And like I said, that you will not be bored with this watch, because the watch looks really elegant, and you also get all your features, and then you get the watch faces as well. They have like a couple of like hundred of watch faces that you can download and set it up. Although they are not functional, but then it would still give you that looks. If you're just wondering that I want to have it every, I just want to have a watch face every other day, a different one. So that should be serving your purpose as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I will see you on the next one.